Very short lang po itong briefing ko, Mr. President. Before I proceed, nung mag-start po, before po mag-roll out ang special assistance payout, naggawa po tayo ng joint memorandum circular that stipulates the responsibilities, accountabilities ng ating pong mga LGU, at the same time, yung duties po ng mga other agencies. And this was signed by the Secretary of National Defense, the officer in charge of the Department of Interior and Local Governments, and yours truly. So ito po ang guidelines na to. It shows the implementation. At the same time, the check and balance for the local government units during the implementation. So, next slide, please. So ito po, Mr. President, ito po yung target individuals based on NEDA projection, which is 22.9 million. And the DBM allocated 22.9 billion for the targeted individuals. Next slide, please. Ang start po ng rollout is on April 6. Ibig sabihin po nito, lahat po ng mga LGUs under the NCR Plus areas ay simultaneously conducted the rollout at as of April 11, based na rin po ito sa data ng ating DILG, ang actual beneficiaries paid is 1,757,281. Amount disbursed is 1,757,281,000. So 8%, Mr. President po ang amount disbursed. Makikita po natin dito, talagang meron pong slow start ng rollout, pero as experience last year na talagang start po talaga mabagal, pero after 4 to 5 days doon na po nag-start yung mabilisang pag-distribute ng special assistance. Next slide. So, other than the special assistance, ito naman po yung mga status of the DSWD regular programs. Next slide. So, meron po tayo yung assistance to individuals in crisis situation. Tuloy-tuloy po ito. Not only in the NCR Plus, but nationwide, ito yung mga victims, also ng mga sunog, other calamities. Ang number of clients po na naserbisyuhan sa NCR Plus is 7,351 with amount disbursed of 47.2 million pesos, Mr. President. Next slide. Sa family food packs naman po, ang ginagawa po natin dito ay we provide augmentation sa ating mga local government units requesting for additional family food packs. Sa NCR Plus, 26,363 family food packs that were already augmented and given to the local government units for their constituents in the amount of 14.4 million pesos. Okay. Next slide, please. Status of standby funds and stockpile. Ang standby funds po natin, kasama po yung nandito sa central office, we have an amount of 526.9 million intended for the NCR Plus areas, at the same time in other regions. Dito rin po natin kinukuha yung quick response fund, and kaya po kung sakaling pumutok po yung taal, which is showing signs of eruption, ay dito rin po natin kukunin yung budget to assist yung mga affected individuals and families. With regard to the family food packs, in the NCR Plus area, we have stockpiles of 99,317 and the amount of 54.4 million ito pong family food packs natin, tuloy-tuloy po ang repacking natin dito. Ang guidance ko po sa ating warehouses na pag mayroong mga LGU na nanghihingi, immediately we provide them with the family food packs. Ngayon lang po nagkaroon lang limitation sa repacking kasi po in-observe din po yung health protocols. In a normal situation, pwede po tayong mag-repack ng 50,000, but considering with the ECQ or NECQ right now, nalilimit lang po tayo sa 20,000 family food packs per day. Next slide. So, Mr. President, dyan po nagtatapos ang aking presentation as what the DILG, DND, and the DSWD are doing. Talagang minomonitor po natin yung distribution. In fact, daily, nagbibigay po ng schedule ang ating mga LGU at meron po tayong mga representative coming from the DILG, PNP, AFP, DSWD, just to ensure, Mr. President, na talagang walang makitang irregularities or anomalies sa distribution ng special assistance, Mr. President. Salamat po.
Yung isa sa lang sana ang tanong ko sa iyo was the last time we talked, I asked you to establish the safeguards of the distribution of the itong tulong. There's just a term for it. Yung bagong tulong na binibigay ng mga local government units. Have you made some whatever ma-check ninyo kung
Yes, Mr. President. Actually, meron pong ni-require ang ating DILG to set up the Joint Monitoring and Inspection Committee for every LGU. Composed po ito ng DILG, meron din pong PNP, DSWD, and even mga prosecutor. No? So, ang purpose po niyan, tinitignan nila kung paano yung pagbibigay ng ayuda ng ating mga LGU. Ang pinaka-importante po dito ay ni-require din po ng ating DILG na mag-set up ng grievance and appeals committee for every LGU and even sa level po ng barangay. So, ibig sabihin, kapag meron pong mga complainant, immediately pupunta po sila sa grievance and appeals desk or even help desk at doon nila sinasabi kanilang problema. May mga nakakarating po sa amin na if in case may mga complaint, yung dating naging arrangement po natin sa DILG ay in-inform natin ng DILG, and ng DILG, they conduct the investigation and file appropriate case once na substantiated ang evidence do sa allegedly na local government officials or any officials of the LGU na nag-commit ng irregularity sa Mr. President.
That was really the whole thing that I was asking is how the DILG is putting up barriers against corruption. Nasagot mo naman, so thank you very much. Nakita ko si Sinas. Muna ka. Sige, sir.
Sige po, sir. Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte, to the Cabinet Secretaries, Head of Agencies, and fellow workers of the government. Good evening po. These are the sequence of my presentations. It will cover the interventions of the PNP, result of enforcement and implementation of the enhanced community quarantine, and the transition from ECQ to MECQ, and the PNP situation updates. Next slide po. Next, sir. Mr. President, please allow me to present to you the PNP's actions on ECQ in the area of NCR plus bubble area. Next slide, sir. Next. AITF Resolution number 6106-A has placed NCR, Bulacan, Laguna, Cavite, and Rizal under ECQ from March 29 to April 11, 2021. Now, starting April 12 to April 30, 2021, we are now on MECQ. As an offshoot, the PNP has established a total of 71 quarantine control points or QCPs around the NCR Plus with personnel complement of 973 from the 3 police regional offices in the area affected. Personnel deployed to QCPs ensure that only APOR are given access to and from a certain area to address the surge of COVID-19 infection. Next slide. Pakibalik po. Pakibalik muna, sir. Internal law enforcement checkpoints were also established in the NCR Plus area to conduct law enforcement operation in relation to the implementation of the ECQ and MECQ now. A total of 189 checkpoints were established with a total of 1,736 personnel deployed daily to pursue this mission. Next slide. Aside from the deploying personnel to man QCPs and law enforcement checkpoints, the PNP also dispatched social distance patroller equipped with yantoks in places of public convergence such as market, transport terminal, post physical distancing, a 1 meter distance between persons, and other related safety protocols aimed at further ensuring compliance to the minimum public health standard. Next slide. In compliance with the DILG, DSWD, and DND Joint Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series of 2021, or the Joint Implementing Guidelines for the Distribution of Financial Assistance to NCR Plus under ECQ, the PNP has also deployed a total of 1,860 personnel during the distribution of ayuda to secure the LGU and DSW personnel and to maintain the safety and order in area where the ayuda are being distributed. Next slide. Next slide. Next, sir. To ensure public safety and security during the implementation of the PNP COVID-19 deployment and vaccination plan and in compliance with the PNP National Deployment and Vaccination Plan Caduceus, we have deployed a total of 14,942 personnel all over the country to provide security during the transport of the Sinovac and AstraZeneca vaccines. We have also implemented the Libreng Sakay program, utilizing, next slide please, utilizing all available vehicles to ferry stranded essential workers and APOR from their place of work to the designated drop-off areas. To date, we have accommodated a total of 31,000 individuals employing 7,300 PNP personnel and 2,889 vehicles nationwide.
I must congratulate you for this.
Thank you very much.
I'll reserve my comments later. Go ahead.
Next slide, sir. The next slide will show the result of our enforcement operation during the ECQ from March 29 to April 11, 2021. Next slide. As of April 12, 2021, a total of 52,745 cases were recorded from the start of the implementation of ECQ. The most violated public health standard is the non-wearing of face shields with a total of 26,939 violations or 51.1%, followed by non-wearing of face masks with 14,122 cases or 26.8%. 341 of violations on mass gatherings were recorded, while 4,720 cases were recorded for violation on social physical distancing. 6,600 cases were recorded on the violations of RA 1132 or the mandatory reporting of notable disease and health events of Public Health Concern Act. Likewise, next slide. The implementation of the unified curfew in the bubble area recorded a total of 38,715 personnel accosted. Said violators were either warned, involving 22,000 cases, fined 14,274 cases, while 1,483 of them were recommended for community service. Most of these violations, representing 31,168 or 80.5%, occurred in NCR. Next slide. Transition from ECQ to MECQ. Next. In view of the MECQ classification of NCR bubble for the next 2 weeks starting today, herewith are the adjustments to be made by PNP, particularly NCRPO, Pro 4A and Pro 3, supported by Highway Patrol Group, Maritime and ABSI Group, and augmentation from the AAP, Philippine Coast Guard, and BAP. First, we will maintain the present QCP and law enforcement checkpoints with an instruction to be flexible but firm when the need arises. We will expand the travel window time to 3 hours at QCP along economic highways to allow essential workers and permit employees to pass through QCPs without the need for vehicle inspection. Conduct of the regular risk assessment and hot spotting. Commanders or police station down to the municipalities in the bubble area are tasked to determine high-risk socio-economic activities to the barangay levels to determine the possible lockdown and to focus deployment of personnel in areas in coordination with LGUs and other concerned government agencies. 4. Sustain the conduct of pre-deployment briefing to all personnel prior to the deployment to the QCP for their situational awareness and updates on MECQ guidelines. Personnel who are deployed during the ECQ period will undergo RT-PCR tests in coordination with the PNP Health Service. And lastly, maximize the use of strategic communication on pertinent issues. Yes, sir.
Salamat. Can I...
Yes, sir.
Sino po bang wala? Here is you have something to report. The ALG.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and good evening to everyone. I will be giving updates on COVID-19 as far as the DILG tribe bureaus are concerned, plus the updates on local chief executives, as well as on contact tracing. I will be skipping the fourth one, which was reported already by Secretary Rolly Bautista, except that to add that we left it to the discretion of the mayors if they are going to give the ayuda in kind or in cash. But so far, per our monitoring, there is only one who opted to give it in kind, and that is in Calauan, Laguna, Mr. President. And then so far, there are no complaints that we are receiving, because it's very easy to monitor and account, since these are being given in cash at 1,000 per individual.
Alam mo kasi yung I also rely on the news as reported by the TV. Itong sa Double B, maraming nagreklamo na ano, so ask your field officers to try to make the rounds and investigate if these allegations are true. Sabi ko na nga, pero kung sabi mo nga as of now malinis, then I'll take it. But with an added caveat that continue to monitor and to your field officers kung wala naman akong ano nito ano. I do not have any reason to doubt the mayors, lalo na malalaki. Just the same, para hindi tayo mapasama dito sa television. Sige, may hindi sila binigyan, piso lang. Kung piso lang, grabe na yan.
Yes, Mr. President.
Standby lang siguro yun, pang tari-tari.
All our other secretaries and assistant secretaries as well our directors ay sila po sir ang nagmo-monitor sa lahat ng LGUs. Umiikot po sila sir araw-araw. And so far wala kami sir natanggap na complaints. Yes sir.
May isa pa pala dito, the most important actually is si Attorney Domingo Paniero. Doktor, napalagi ako magkamali, sabi ko Paniero, doktor pala.
Yes, sir.
Alam mo, may gusto ko sana mag-usap natin, dalawa lang. Pero okay na nga kung nandito na sa report mo. You can go ahead and do this.
Yes, sir. Apo, maiksi lang naman po on the status of mga vaccines at saka gamot. Meron po tayong konting presentation. Yan. Next slide, please. Yun pong mga bakuna po natin sa ngayon. Meron po tayong, yung next slide po. So ito po yung status po ng mga nag-apply po sa atin tsaka mga inaasahan po nating mag-apply ng mga vaccines for emergency use authorization. Ang nag-grant na po natin yung unang nag-apply sa atin na 4. Ito po yung Pfizer, yung AstraZeneca, yung pong Sinovac at yung pinakauli po yung Sputnik, yung Gamaleya. Meron pa 5 po tayo na application from India, yung Bharat Biotech. Meron pa po silang kulang sa atin na kailangan i-submit na proof of good manufacturing practice. Pero malapit na rin po matapos yun basta makumpleto lang po nila yung kanilang mga requirement. Noong pong March 31, right before Holy Week, sir, nag-apply na rin po yung Janssen, yung Johnson & Johnson. Ito po ay isang one dose lang po binibigay. Meron na po itong EUA sa US, sa Europe, sa Canada, Switzerland, at saka sa WHO po na emergency use listing. So ito po ang ongoing evaluation natin and we hope to finish all of this po within the week. Pagkatapos po, ang hindi pa tayo po malinaw, yung Sinopharm, meron pong sumulat sa amin na gusto mag-apply pero nung hiningan po namin ng requirements, hindi pa po nila binibigay and we're still waiting for that. Yun naman pong Moderna, tinatanong po namin, pina-follow up po namin yung application nila. Ang sabi po, kino-complete pa nila yung kanila pong documents and that the local partner will submit hopefully po this week. Yung Moderna, meron na rin po yung EUA sa US tsaka sa European Union. So hindi naman po tayo matatagalan sa pag-evaluate po niyan. Medyo nagbabasa-basa na nga po tayo yung ating mga evaluators kahit wala pa pong submission. And then yung last po na ine-expect natin, probably po ito baka after the second quarter pa mag-a-apply yung pong Novavax. Ito po ay wala pang EUA kahit sa ibang bansa at mukhang mga June pa po yata, May or June pa sila mag-a-apply. So possible po sa atin towards the later part of the year pa. So ang hinihintay po talaga natin na mag-apply ay yung Moderna. Next slide please. Sa mga gamot naman po, ang mga gamot na ginagamit ng ating mga espesyalista kontra po sa COVID-19, number 1 nga po yung Remdesivir. Tinanong po natin sa mga importer natin yung availability of stocks dahil last week po medyo nung nagka-surge, nagkahirapan po yung distribution sa hospitals and nagkahirapan po ng supplies. Pero nagdatingan na daw po yung kanilang mga supplies and they assure us that there's availability of stocks for at least 1 month. Pero tuloy-tuloy naman po ang import nila At ang mga ospital kumukuha po ng compassionate special permit niyan galing po sa FDA para magamit sa mga pasyente nila. Pangalawa po yung Favipiravir or yung Avigan. Meron pong stock sa mga hospitals natin yan. Usually given po ito to mild to moderate na COVID. And meron din pong compassionate special permit. Kasi po itong mga gamot na ito, hindi pa po sila completely fully registered dito sa Pilipinas. So they get a compassionate permit from the FDA para po ma-import nila. Yung pong tocilizumab, ito isa rin po ito. Ito po ang talagang nagkaroon ng shortage, including up to this week. Because there's only one manufacturer and supplier for this drug. It's a patented drug. At although ang magandang balita naman po, kanina nag-email na yung supplier nito at may padating na po daw sila na 5,000 doses sa Pilipinas this week. So this will be distributed to the hospitals. This is a registered drug. So wala pong problema ito, meron po itong CPR. Ngayon po yung pinapareport din po nyo yung Ivermectin. Yung Ivermectin po sa ngayon, hindi pa po siya included sa treatment protocol po na sinusunod ng Department of Health at saka ng ating mga infectious disease specialist. Pero yun nga po, may mga nag-a-advocate nito. Kaya so far, nakatanggap na po kami ng last time, nireport ko po sa inyo, ang mga registered lang nito kasi ay mga gamot na yung Ivermectin po na panghayop, walang pang tao. So ngayon naman po, as of last week, meron na pong 3 na kumpanya na nag-signify ng intention nila to register yung kanila pong produkto na Ivermectin na pang tao at binigyan na po namin sila ng listahan ng requirements. At basta naman po sila mag-submit i-evaluate naman po agad ito ng FDA. And then, ito na rin pong isang nag-apply ng hospital ng compassionate special permit para magamit po nila sa mga pasyente nilang naka-admit following clinical trial protocols po that are ongoing overseas. So ito po ay na-approve na po natin at pinayagan na po natin. Next slide please. Ayun po, currently ang registered po na Ivermectin sa Pilipinas para pinapahid po sa balat ng tao at saka meron din pong for animal use, for veterinarians. Pero yun pong meron pong mga pharmacy sa Pilipinas na licensed pharmacy na meron po silang permit to do what we call compounding. Yung tinitimpla po nila yung gamot at ginagawan lang capsule pag may prescription ang isang pasyente. So meron po mga pasyente na may prescription ng Ivermectin, pwede po silang pumunta sa compounding pharmacy and the compounding pharmacy can make the medicine for them. But this is of course per prescription. Kailangan po may reseta yung pasyente at saka individually po piniprepare ito. Hindi po ito pwedeng for mass distribution kasi kung ganun po commercial, kailangan po i-register na Certificate of Product Registration. Next slide please.
Matanong mo na kita.
Ito po discuss. Yes sir.
May nalaman ka ba na may sakit na COVID na gumaling sa Ivermectin?
Well, marami po kasing nagkiklaim na ito po ang nagpagaling sa kanila. Kaya lang at the same time, marami naman din po sila kasing ibang gamot na iniinom. Kaya po ang sinasabi ng ating mga espesyalista, hindi naman natin masasabi na ito yung nagpagaling sa kanila at na medyo kulang pa po tayo ng ebidensya. So marami naman pong ongoing na clinical trial sa buong mundo at hinihintay po natin ng resulta yon. At ang sabi nga po ng DOST, hindi naman tayo kailangan ng gumawa ng clinical trial dito. Hintayin na lang natin yung mga final results. Ito pong mga clinical trial that are going on right now.
Tama, because I think that medicine is for animal use.
Well, yun pong sa ngayon, opo. Pero meron din naman po talagang pang-tao dito. Pero it's really po an anti-parasitic. Para po sa mga bulate, para po sa mga skin infestation. Doon po siya na-design. Hindi po siya originally designed as an antiviral.
Are you true?
Yes, sir. Opo.
So, list of Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency PDEA personnel dismissed from service. Joselito Ramos, Intelligence Officer, grave misconduct for testing positive for drug use. dismissed from the service. Ray Olfato, administrative for testing positive on drug use, grave misconduct. Itong si Dennis Maria Mercado, Dennis Marie Mercado, administrative aid 3. Grave misconduct, conduct prejudicial to the service. Babae ito. George Bariso, prison guard 2, tested positive for drugs use, dismissal from the service. Puro ito, no? Taga-PDEA na may tama. Pakita ka ganito. Well, anyway, yun lang ho. Ganun man ang payo namin sa inyo. The same, yung dumistansya ka sa mga tao na alam mo na may COVID, o kaya yung hindi mo alam may COVID, mas lalo na gano'n ka ng mga distancing, and the mask and the itong sa face mask, itong sa covering, face cover, those are the things that would really greatly help you in your quest for a healthy life at this time that is really a must for everybody. So mga kaibigan ko, kailangan ninyong maniwala, hindi dahil sa gusto namin na may ECQ kayo o i-presuhin kayo lahat. Much as we hate it actually doing it, we have to, because on our shoulders for the lap of the grave responsibility of seeing to it that the nation is safe. You would notice that halos lahat dito, hindi naman doktor, pero may papel kaming dinadala sa aming trabaho. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagkikinig.